Hey, hey, hey.
You missed us, didn't you?
I know they did. They did. We took a little break on them. We didn't tell them. We sorry we didn't tell you guys. But
Such
we've been cooking in the
irresponsible,
kitchen at least. We have been cooking in the kitchen. What you say, Holly?
irresponsible podcast host.
Yeah, we missed you too. How about that? We'll say that we missed you too, and we are glad to be back. My name is Melanie Lauren.
I'm Holly Chanel, and this is Dipped with Sweet and
Yes,
I.
it is. Yes, it is, y'all. We've been digging into Black love this season, and we have finally gotten around to the romantic love that I know you all
Oh,
wanted to talk and listen to us talk about and
I am.
engage with us on all the socials. And Holly's excited that we
Yes.
got to this Black romantic love because she's been trying to get to it all season with her references of Black rom-com film. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Black romantic love. And I also need to preface this by saying in this particular episode, we recognize this is not everyone's lived experience, but we are going to talk more specifically about Black heterosexual love. We have some episodes and we talked about like intersections of Black being Black and queer love a little bit earlier in this season. For this particular episode, we're going to focus on Black heterosexual love purely because that is our lived experience. We are both Black heterosexual women, so that's the perspective that we can come from, honestly. But yeah, we're gonna dig into it. We're gonna dig into it, Holly. You ready?
I'm ready, friends.
What is
And
this? She has this look on her face.
I'm so happy that we're finally at the point where we are talking about Black romantic love because my hot this week
Mm.
needs some redemption.
Oh,
So
okay.
it needs some redemption. So, friend, please tell me you got something sweet going on with you.
I do have something sweet. So it's
I'm
it's
simmering over
sweet to
here.
me. It makes you nervous, but it's sweet to me. Okay. And I'll explain to everybody else what that means. So my sweet is just honestly a little bit forward looking right now. I'm excited, you all, because as we've been talking about Black love and are delving into Black romantic love, I told you we've been cooking in the kitchen a little bit while we took some breaks. And so she's taking a sip of wine while I say this, because I guess it drives her to drinking a little bit. But what we're going to do for you, let me just say this. My sweet is I'm excited about what we got coming up for the end of this Black love season, the culmination of it. And essentially what's going to happen is Holly and I are going to allow someone to matchmake for each of us. That person will set up at least one romantic date with a gentleman that we are each
Oh,
going to go on.
I'm not going to play, homie. When did we get at least in here? I thought it was one.
I'm just leaving room for other possibilities. It's
And now I'm nervous.
Yeah,
Go.
you were nervous anyway. But so we are at least going to go on at least one date that someone sets us up on. And with one of the parameters, we're still fleshing out the parameters, but one of the parameters for this date that these people set us up with is we have to be willing to go on a date with someone that we might not have naturally chosen for ourselves.
Oh.
So we are breaking out of our routine. We're breaking out of our comfort zones. And whoever this person picks for us, even if it's someone that we might not have normally chosen for ourselves, we are going to have to go on this date. And then we're going to talk about it and spill the tea on the show here. So that's my sweet. I'm excited about it. I'm going to be sweet on these dates. All the sweets, sweet, sweet, sweet.
He keeps saying sweet, like that's going to convince me to be less nervous about this shenanigans and tomfoolery. Question: who is doing the picking? Do we know who's doing the picking?
Yeah, some people who know us well. Some people who know
Oh,
us
now
well.
I'm really nervous, G.
Some people who know us well, because they have to be able to make a determination about whether this is someone we would pick for ourselves or not. So they need to know a little bit about our dating history, our relationship history, and what they think we might benefit from in our lives.
So let me send this warning across the bow right now. If I don't know who you are, but if Auntie Holly cares for your kids, watch your back. You look at with no troll, okay? Don't you, don't you look me up.
Stay open-minded, friend. That's the thing. We got to stay open-minded. We got to stay
For
open-minded.
trolls?
Not to trolls. Not to trolls. I agree. Not to trolls. But yeah, so that's sweet. But
Mm.
you had something simmering over there that
Well, so listen, I guess I
was
can't be
hot.
mad because everything, something's got to be better than what I've been going through. Gee, so I know a lot of musicians, and I know a few musicians who travel. And
Mm-hmm.
recently, one of the traveling musicians who's not from Chicago, but who I just befriended in a very, an extremely benign, non-romantic, like, hey, let's just check in and see how each other's doing. We don't even have each other's phone number. It's just Instagram messages. Just you good? You good? Okay, that's great. Where about in the world are you now?
Acquaintances, if
Just
you will.
acquaintances, if you will. Why does Negro ask me to wash his dirty drawers? He did.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was in
Wait,
town.
what?
Yeah, he was in town. And I'm not sure if he was drunk. I'm praying that he was drunk. I am praying that there is some other explanation other than Audacity having a going out of business sale that you would ask a mere acquaintance to wash your, and I quote, doo-doo stained, end quote,
Ew.
drawers. Yeah.
Wait, what? So he hit you in your DM and was like, "Hey, I'm in town. My doo-doo stain drawers need washing. Can you do that for me?"
It wasn't like that. So, I work at a bar. So he was performing. And then after he finished performing, he was trying to hang out. So we never linked up Friday night, which is fine. Saturday night, we were supposed to link up, but he was running late. Right. So then I went and got my comfy cozies. He hits me like, about 1:45 in the morning, like, hey, sorry I didn't get back to you, but I got one more gig in the city tomorrow morning. Can you wash my clothes before you go to work? To which I
Huh?
to which I responded, hey, there's a service that does $2 a pound, same day service. He responded, because like I'm smooth with a curve, like, right? Like I'm real smooth because what I don't want to do is cuss you out, right? However, comma, he then says, well, what if I could get him to you because I don't want a service to see my doo-doo stains?
Wait. Okay. So you don't want the strangers at the laundry service where that's what they do for a living is
Uh-huh.
wash clothes. You
Uh-huh.
don't want them to see the doo-doo
Mm-mm.
stains, but you're cool with me seeing your doo-doo stains?
A mere acquaintance that you know through a friend. I can't make this
First
up.
of all, let me go. Why do you have doo-doo stains? Let's
The
ask that question. Can we
grown
start there?
man, grown man.
Why do you have doo-doo
I
stains?
don't
First of
understand.
all. Second of all, why did you feel comfortable telling me that you had doo-doo stains? Where is the filter? Where is the level of embarrassment about this? Third of all, not only did you tell me that you had doo-doo stains, but you want me to actually see them? Now I have questions about what you think about me. What do you think about me, sir? Who am I? Who am I? Who do you think I am, rather? I know who I am. Who do you think I am? it's a it's a real question. Oh, dang. I'm
Look,
sorry, friend.
you
So when
know,
you told him about the laundry service, what was his response?
his response was, I don't want them to see my doodle stains. And I was like, good luck. I ain't got it.
Wow.
Like at that point, I was like, be fucking for real. Like, we don't even do a lot of cussing on this podcast. And I was like, here are the things that came to mind. It's a lot of F's. You got me fucked up. Who the fuck you think you talking to? Be fucking for real. Like
How about please be so fucking for real?
please
That's
be
what
so
I've
fucking
heard.
for real. Like I'll do it politely. I don't care, but I need you to understand that you got me fucked up, my guy. Like, what? Here's the thing. What's worse is even if you are joking, even if you are drunk, don't play with me like that. That's not funny.
But I think y'all got too far into the conversation for it
We
to be a joke
did.
without him saying that.
We
So, like,
did.
he never said it was a joke. I don't think he was joking.
To
He
this day,
actually
still
asked you
hasn't.
to do that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have had me hot too. That would have
Yeah.
had me hot too. I mean, and honestly, it goes to some of the it's tangential at least to some of what we're going to talk
Oh
about
no,
because
it's not tangential. It hits it right on the nose because black men, why y'all make it so hard to date? Why you making yes, the person I am talking about is an African American black descendant of African male. Okay. This is who I'm talking about. And this is gonna come into play after y'all listen to this clip. Hit it, super producer Luke.
Black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most black women are dating and marrying black men, and there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important, so I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a black man? Not at all. 2/3 of my clients actually end up with black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed black men. Okay? Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, black households, were single mother households. So black men generally have two relationships with their mother. Either they were a mesh, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize, and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of black men are actually running away from black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah?
Woo! Okay. Let me say this to the
Did
people.
you take your notes? Did you take
I
your
took notes. And let me say this to the people. First of all, I found this clip on Instagram from a guy who says he's a dating coach. His handle is at dating coach Anwar, Anwar. And I follow this guy and I've seen a lot of his videos before, but I saved this one because as soon as I looked at this, I was like, first of all, that goes really to the heart of something that we're dealing with Black love in our season. But also, I was like, ooh, I ran straight to the comments because I was like, ooh, you finna piss some people off.
Did you fly first class for it?
Man, look, I spent my life savings buying that first class ticket to get to these comments as soon as possible because I said, ooh, he getting ready to piss some people off with this. And I got to give it to him. He knows how to deliver a headline at the beginning. It was very intriguing. I was in the title of the video is Black Men Are the Hardest to Date. And then he outlines why he says that. Now, let me explain a couple things. I can tell you from following him that he says he is a dating coach for Black and brown women. So that's his audience. That's who he's talking to. And so he's basically outlining what he thinks are some of the reasons why it is harder for his clientele, Black and brown women, to date Black men than it is for them to date other races. Again, I said we were going to focus on Black heterosexual love in this episode. And so I also was just really intrigued by some of the points that he made from my personal experience, but also just kind of objectively. And I was like, oh, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this as two Black women who are heterosexual, who have had a number of dating experiences with Black men. I thought it would be interesting for us to sort of, look at what some of these realities that are lifted up in this IG video and just kind of talk about that and see what our thoughts are. So here's another face. What's going on behind the eyes?
No, so in your suite, you tagged the season finale, and I think that this is a great show to do prior to the season finale because it gives us something to converse, a topic of conversation with our potential non-troll dates. But also, I think it's a great conversation to have to kind of dispel those preconceived notions and approach these dates with more empathy and compassion than we typically would. So thank you, dating coach Anwar, for the content and the fodder to help us in this endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely. And there may be others like him. A lot of what he said, I can't say it's the first time that I've heard that. So there are probably other people that would say the same thing. But why are we as Black women and Black men engaged in heterosexual relationships? Why are we having such a hard time? Now, he listed a few different things, but Hollee, I'm gonna throw it to you. And what do you think is one of the top things that landed with you about what he said?
So I'm gonna tell you, the entire thing landed with me because it was, and this is just my nerd brain. I picked up 6 M's from the
I noticed
whole
the
thing.
alliteration as well.
It was a lot of alliteration. So the first one I got was mamas, then money earning potential, management ability, men mentors,
Mm-hmm.
masses of options,
Mm-hmm.
micro and macro aggressions.
He did. He talked about all of that.
Now I had to reach a little bit with the options there, with the ratio he gave, masses of options, but she's smart. She did it. She got through it. I will tell you, different ones stuck out to me for different reasons, because micro and macro aggressions are usually my focus when I'm in a relationship, and this is friendship, any level of relationship, so friendship or intimacy or whatnot. But that's one of my focuses when I'm in relationship, specifically with Black men, is being empathetic to and understanding their the micro and macro aggressions that they face on a day-to-day basis, and understanding that, and I think I said this in last season's finale or this season's opener, which is folks really don't know and don't ask and don't sit and listen to what Black men go through.
Okay.
And I think Manny had a quote there. I think when we asked him the question, what would you like people to know about Black men? He said, we hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
We hurt too. And so I think that was one of the biggest things that stuck out to me. The other one that got me was the second part of the mama situation. So the first one was, Black men are looking for women to either be their mothers or to not be as judgmental, i.e., naggy and nitpicky as their mother.
Specifically what he said, because I'll say it in the
Mhm.
more provocative way that he said. What he says is that a lot of Black men, first of all, he was making the point that a lot of Black men grew up with single mothers. He says, for example, in the 1990s, he says 75% of Black households had a single mother, households with children. Now, I don't know where he got that statistic, but that's what he says. And I'm not negating it. I'm just saying I don't know what the source for that statistic is. So he says that if you were a Black man and you had just a mama at home, you fall into probably one or two categories. You either had the kind of relationship with your mother where you were the prize. So you think that you're the prize in your relationships with other women and you carry that into your dating life. And then the second thing that he said was that, or your mother was very critical or judgmental if you gave you a hard time. So a lot of times when you're running away from Black women, this is what he said. He said, when you're running away from Black women, you're actually running away from your mother.
What if it's both? You ever met dudes where both is the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have. So anyway, you were about to say, you said that one landed for you. So, I mean, I can say that I definitely have dated men who grew up with single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
I have dated Black men who it feels like they do kind of have what I would call a prize complex, in a prize disposition, a prize view of self in the relationship. And when I say prize, I'm talking about in relationship to the woman. Like they feel that they are the prize in relationship to the woman. And I will also say, as a woman who went to higher learning institutions, I went to college and I have a graduate degree as well. And for both of those degrees, I went to predominantly white institutions. Now, there were Black students. Yes, there was plenty of Black students, and I had a Black experience at these schools, but they were not HBCUs. And what I will say is this: I'm the prize mentality I found to be really exacerbated among the Black men who were also at these higher learning education. the ones who were sort of beating the odds and who were excelling and very successful in life, the ones who were at these schools, the ones who were getting the great jobs, the great corporate jobs, making the cream of the crop, so to speak. The black men who were the cream of the
Heavy
crop.
on the so to speak.
Yes.
See.
Like the black men who were quote unquote the bee, like they felt like they were the bee's knees because maybe the rest of the world made them feel like they were the bee's knees. But it definitely carried over into my relationships, dating relationships with them, thinking that, like, hey, it became difficult. They didn't see the women as the prize, is what I'm saying. I'm out here, I'm a rarity, I'm a commodity. There are very few black men like me. I'm out here doing it. Sis, you need to be glad that I'm even entertaining.
Exactly. I think that gentlemen like the ones you are describing treat women, in my experience, as just another accessory or indicator of their wealth and success. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So, like, they're dating the Instagram baddie because they can afford her materialistic behaviors, all for the picture that goes on the gram, right? You know what I mean? They're not looking for the chick of substance if, she's a hair under the size that, the society prefers. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. As a Black Wellesley woman, scores of Wellesley women avoided Black Harvard men. And I'm not lying to you.
Because, as we should explain to the people, which was in close proximity. Those two schools are very close together.
Wellesley, Massachusetts is about 20 minutes away from Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Harvard is located, right? And we have a transportation system that goes between Harvard, Wellesley, MIT, and then BU in Northeastern, or during the weekends and whatnot. But all that said, especially Black women who were at Wellesley, and this was a personal experience, even though it was, 7 years ago. You go to the Harvard party and all the Black dudes approach you like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that. You want to get with me. And it's like, dude, you don't impress me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my point in that is that I think a part of that is that society has set the bar so low for Black men because of systemic oppression. There was a time where if a Black man wasn't in jail, if he made it out of high school, and if he only had one, tops two baby mamas, he was winning. He was winning. And so when you get the Black man who is all of that and then is excelling academically or career-wise, it's like I've had grown men tell me, I grew up in a household where, like, you don't get brownie points for doing some shit you were supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to be an upstanding gentleman. You are supposed to be respectful. And I'm not saying fall down on your knees and kiss a woman's butt, but also show some humility. Show her that you want her, right? I've had a guy tell me, I dress well, I have a job, I have a bachelor's degree, I smell good, and I go to church every Sunday. Why she got a problem with me sleeping around or dating other chicks?
How much of that do you feel like has to do with mama, though? I feel like a lot of it has to do with society and the fact that, we're talking about an arrogance quotient that gets developed.
So it's inadvertent. I will say that it's inadvertent because I got an older brother. So what I heard in my house was, you're not going to be no gangbanger. You're not going to be on the street. You're not going to be, you're not going to be a drug dealer. You're not going to do all these things. You're not going to have. And so I think in my brother's mind, to a degree, it was, okay, so if I avoid these things, I'm God's gift to women. I'm not saying that's how he thinks. I'm just making a correlation between what I heard in my house and how I can see
how someone might develop that.
Exactly.
Woo, yeah. I think there is definitely a correlation between a man's relationship. Specifically, I've seen it happen in Black men that I've dated, with their relationships with their mothers and their approach and their relationships with the women that they've dated. Now, I dated someone who, I'll tell you how mama showed up in the relationship, that the one example that I'm thinking of. And if I thought longer, I'm sure I'd have several other stories to tell.
Mhm.
So this particular man grew up in a 2-parent home.
Okay.
So we can't say that he, only had his mother around growing up. But I do think that because of the culture, he did grow up sort of in that entitled, prized. He probably fit into that vein a little bit more. That was probably more aligned with his lived experience. And the way that I saw that show up was the power dynamic and how he spoke to his mother as a grown man.
Say
Because
who?
yeah, the power dynamic and how he spoke to his mother as a grown man. And it was very telling for me because I got a chance to travel to his home and be at his family's home for around the holidays one year. It was like, slightly before or after Christmas, I think, that I went to go, and I stayed with him in his family home because he didn't live with his family either. So he was back home visiting his family, and I met him up there and got a chance to meet them and everything. And I witnessed this interaction between him and his mother where he had a dog that he had left when he left home and went to go off to do what he was doing and what he was pursuing. He left the family, his dog, at home with his mother, his father, and his sister, who was younger. And so just a couple years younger. He came home and was like excited to see his dog and wanted to show me his dog. So we're in the kitchen. His mother's at the stove. They had like a sliding door to go out to the patio, up to the backyard where the dog was. And so when he starts talking about bringing his dog in the house to let me introduce it, his mother immediately got very concerned and was like, no, 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 no. Like, don't let the dog in because the dog has been acting funny. We're not sure what's going on with the dog. And I don't know how the dog's going to react to a stranger. So this is not a good time. Don't let the dog in the house. So the first time she said it, he just disregards her, right? He's like, man, whatever. I want to see my dog. Like, that's basically what he said. So he continues approaching the patio door to open it to let the dog in the house. So she gets increasingly concerned and vocal about the fact that she does not want him to let this dog in the house. So then he gets mad and he's like, y'all ain't been taking care of my dog. Y'all so and so. I leave my dog here. This is my dog. I'm letting my dog in the house. Bop, 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 bop. And I'm standing here. His mother's like, and she's not like, her energy is not like aggressive and combative. Her energy is like she was scared. Like she was literally afraid in this moment of him letting this dog in the house. And she's like, please, she's almost like begging, like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And he's ignoring her, getting upset and continuing to try to bring the dog in the house. It got to a point where, and it didn't take long, but my natural instinct kicked in. And my natural instinct in the moment was, oh, okay, hold on, time out. What I said to him in that moment was in front of his mother. I said, I'm not gonna say his name because I almost said his name. We don't say names.
We protect anonymity on the podcast.
Anonymity, but I said, and I'm gonna use a
I know who it is.
Here. Steve. Let's say his name was Steve.
Steve, it is.
I said, Steve, she doesn't want you to let the dog in the house. She's scared. I was like, I can see that she's scared. It's okay. I can meet the dog another. This is how I'm talking. I can meet the dog another time. Like, it's okay. Let's not upset her anymore. It's okay. I'll meet the dog another time. And he listens to me. So he responded to me, like he didn't disregard me the way that he was disregarding her. But what I remember thinking in that moment was, so that's what I got to look forward to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should have seen like the disrespect. First of all, Steve, this is her house. Second of all, Steve, she's
taking care of your dog.
She's taking care of your dog, which she didn't have to do. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I left to go away to college, my parents gave my dog away. Because they were like, we're not taking care of your dog. Now, they gave it to my great aunt who I could still, she had a lot of kids. It was better for my dog. She had a lot of kids to play for. I was sad, but I understood. But I'm just saying, it's a big thing for someone to take care of your dog and you're not there. So first of all, she's doing you a solid taking care of your dog. Second of all, this is her house. Third of all, this is your mother. And she's sitting here pleading with you not to do something. And you're just
totally
like,
disregarding.
You're totally disregarding her, totally disrespecting her, yelling at her in her own home, yelling at her in her own home. And you felt comfortable doing that in front of me.
Which tells me he's been enabling that behavior for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
Yep.
And so I was just like, yo, I can see it. How your relationship with your mother, now we broke up, not because of that incident, but I never forgot it. I'll tell you that. I never forgot it. And it was cause for concern for me to think about, like, what would my relationship with this man be like later down the line? You know what I mean? And how would that show up?
So look, the one last thing that stuck out to me for real, and this was my personal experience, money earning potential. So when I was married, I had a college degree. My ex-husband had a high school diploma. Melanie, I don't know if I ever told you this. 2 times I got new jobs and doubled my salary. And so I got, like, we met, I had one job. I got a second job, doubled my salary. I got a third job, kind of stayed where I was, got a fourth job, doubled that salary, right?
Okay.
The 2 times that I doubled the salary, he decided he was going to quit to find himself. He was going to quit his job. And it was my responsibility to support the household. And so when Anwar said that if women are more educated and earning more money, they either have a problem with it or they find a way to humble you and to downplay what's happening because they genuinely have a problem with it. And when I tell you that was my experience, it was. So the last thing that I want to say before we wrap this up.
That's juicy. And I would like to say we're going to have to come back to it because you just said a whole lot, friend.
I did. I
knew this conversation was going to be rich and that we probably weren't going to be able to fit all of this into one single episode.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to come back and delve into this money because we spent this whole one talking about mama.
We did. But here's the thing. And there is a part 2 coming. But in the meantime, in between time, if you are a Black man listening to this, go get therapy, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you're a Black person.
Yes.
If you're a Black, definitely a Black man. But if you're a Black person, because we're all out here. And that's what I think is important for us to understand. Is that, like, even if it's not your issue, like as a Black woman, I don't have the mom issues that maybe some of my counterparts have, but I'm damn sure being affected by them out here in these streets in my interactions with other people. So we just need to learn healthy ways to relate. But we're coming back to this. We got to come back to this. We got to go. We're out of time today. Oh, this is good. This is juicy. So juicy. Shout out to super producer Lewis.
Love you, boo.
To my friend, my co-host, Miss Hollee Chanel. My name is Melanie Lauren. And
I'm Hollee Chanel. Well,
yeah, I said your name. You didn't have to say your name. I said your name.
I like saying my name. I'm sorry.
Listen, this has been a juicy discussion. We're going to come back, like we said, for part 2. We got to pick up where we left off, talking about this man that decided to quit his jobs when Holly started making more money and other things. But we'll be back. In the meantime, my name is Melanie Lauren.
I'm Hollee Chanel.
And this is Dip with Sweet and Hot.